Hey guys, Twerk17 here, coming at you with another Star Citizen video, and this video is going to be very different than the videos we've done in the past on this channel. We're going to be checking out patch notes, and I just want to say I really appreciate the feedback that I've been getting on the YouTube channel, as well as the support we've been getting on the YouTube channel. You guys have been really, really great, and you've kind of lit a fire under me, and before, YouTube was always number 2 to my Twitch channel, and now it's very much becoming Twitch is 1 and YouTube is 1A. I really have a passion for it now, and I really want to make more videos for you guys. So I'm going to be making a lot more of different types of videos in the future here, and it's really, really important for me for you guys to give feedback on those videos. So make sure you leave a comment below and let me know what you think of these kind of videos. We're going to be checking out patch notes and showing you some of the changes and discussing them a little bit. I think we're only going to do the major patches, so like your 3.5 and your 3.5.1 and succeeding patches like that, but not necessarily the fixed a few bugs here and a few crashes there patches. So we're also just going to really be discussing what features have been added. A lot of people come to my Twitch channel and say, hey, is this patch worth playing? What's new in Star Citizen? I've been gone for a few months. That kind of thing. So discussing that in these videos, I think, is going to be a really important piece to add to our YouTube channel lineup. So I'm just going to jump right into it and discuss, once again, this is the 3.5 PTU patch notes. So this patch is not currently live and open and playable for everybody. This is for the first wave testers only, and it's the PTU. So it's quite buggy, and this PTU in particular is quite buggy. It came out pretty late in the patch cycle, I would say, and a lot of things aren't working perfectly. So succeeding patches from this patch may add additional features and may even potentially take features away from this patch. As always, this Star Citizen is an early access game, and everything is subject to change. So the first feature that has been added to Star Citizen 3.5 is DNA face customization. And the customization that we had before was very, very basic. You had your choice of 8 male character faces, and you kind of went, I guess that guy kind of looks like me, and that hair kind of looks like mine, and that hair color is sort of like mine, and yeah, good enough. And when you would go and play with your friends, you would notice a lot of them would look the same as each other, or they would look a lot like you, and it just doesn't really fit in what Star Citizen plans to be, which is obviously a massively multiplayer online game, and customizability of your character is very, very important for games like that. So we have a new system called DNA Face Customization, where you can take those set faces and choose between 2 and 3 of them, and kind of move a slider back and forth and say, well, that face sort of, I like the eyes on that face and the chin on that face, and you can move a slider a little bit to sort of melt those two faces together and make something that looks like the character that you want to make, whether it's yourself in the game or a character that you would like to play and role play as. They also have more advanced customization in the DNA system, where you could take just the nose individually on 1 or up to 3 different characters and move the sliders around to customize your character even more. They've also added playable female characters. So females out there, welcome to the Star Citizen universe. It's been quite a while, and I think this is a really, really important update for not only the female players, but the male players who enjoy playing as female characters in video games, as well as the role-playing community, just adding more to that. But even if you are not a role player or don't really care what your character looks like, when you're traveling around the universe, just the sheer variety that you're going to be coming across in the future because of this system and because of female characters being added is really important. On the universe side of things, we have another planetary location added. The second planet in the Star Citizen universe now, Corp, as well as its moons, Lyria and Walla. And Corp is Star Citizen's version of Coruscant. It's a planet that is completely covered by buildings. A lot of them factories and apartments and business-style buildings, I guess, commerce buildings. I don't know how else to say it. But it is a feat I did not think Star Citizen would be able to achieve a few years ago, and they have achieved it. They've definitely made a very cool looking place. The buildings are incredibly tall, and we will be able to land on some of those buildings with potential gameplay inside of them. Perhaps there's all sorts of possibilities for ArcCorp. ArcCorp is very much in its earliest stages, I would say, and as well as Lyria and Walla and all the moons in Star Citizen. But it's very important for them to get these planets in and start building them out and the gameplay inside of them. But basically, what this planet is the canvas for the gameplay in the future, and the canvas has a few colors on it, but it's not a masterpiece yet, obviously. Also, on the planet of ArcCorp is a landing zone that if you've been around Star Citizen for a while, you're very familiar with, Area 18, and it is the updated version of Area 18, and I think they learned a lot from Hurston and Lorville here, where they separated the starport a pretty far distance from the actual landing zone, Area 18. One of the reasons for that was performance reasons. So they're realizing a performance bottleneck that they're going to have to make this game and coming up with a solution to fix it. That's great. I don't think that's ideal for all of us, but if it's a performance issue, it's a performance issue. We want this game to run really well. But Area 18, I think they learned a lot from Hurston, where Hurston is really spread out wide, and Area 18 is built up high. So taking an elevator to one floor could have a fancy bar, or taking an elevator to another floor could be an apartment building. You could do the possibilities are sort of endless with Area 18, because in the major building, the ArcCorp building, you could put anything on any floor, basically, whether it's shops or gameplay loops. Like, just the possibilities are endless, and I think it was a really, really smart way to build it out. And on top of that, as with most major landing areas, we get a mission giver, Pacheo, say that 3 times fast, who is on the seedier side, the piracy, I guess, side of the mission givers, where she was a former Blackjack security agent, which is on the good guy's side, I guess, and she was let go because she sustained an injury, and now she kind of plays on the side of the people that she was fighting against before. So it's an interesting story that she has. At this point in time, I don't think she functions at all, really, but she's there, so you can at least find where she is for when the mission giver is working properly. As far as missions go, this is a really important section, I feel, for me. They added patrol missions to Delamar, as well as destroy satellite missions to the Hurston area, and added additional delivery mission variants. Just any additions to the mission system are going to be really important to me personally. I think they will be for basically everybody who plays Star Citizen. I think the underlying gameplay overall for us when we play Star Citizen is going to be based on the work that's being done to the mission system now, whether it's working for a company at some point, maybe, like Hurston or ArcCorp, or a certain mission giver, or just general missions that you come across in the verse while you're playing. I think it's all going to be based on the work done to the system. So any additions added are really, really important. As far as ships and vehicles go, we've added the MISC Reliant variants. We've had the MISC Reliant for a few patches now, along with an update to it in a recent patch. But they've now added the Tana, the Sen, and the Mako, and they all have their different unique interiors, and you can go check them out. I also think with this update, and with the flight model update and the weapons balance updates and things like that, that the MISC Reliant series is sort of becoming relevant, where I didn't really feel it was relevant before. So as far as a starter ship, the MISC Reliant is actually becoming into its own in the universe, which is really nice. They added the Super Hornet Heartseeker, which was a promotional ship that was done for Valentine's Day. And after I finished the recording of the initial video, CIG has added the updated 300i, but not the variants to the patch. The variants will come in possibly a 3.5.1 or a later patch likely after the release of the patch to live. Voice feedback events for mining, so when you mine, the chip will actually be like, you know, rock broken or something like that. I actually haven't heard anything of it yet, but just additional little feedback to mining is always good. Items and components now wear at a very slow rate. Items and components can now be repaired. That is a huge, huge piece to the economy in the Star Citizen universe. A lot of the Star Citizen economy is going to be ship-based. Purchasing ships, purchasing ship components, updating your ship components, repairing your ship components. So the wear and tear to ship components is very important to the overarching economy in Star Citizen, and this is one really big step in that direction. It's really, really good. They also added ship weapon auto convergence. Now, this isn't the auto gimbal system that we saw on Around the Verse recently. This is the system where your ship's targeting system says, okay, I know this gun fires at this rate and has a max range of this, and this other weapon fires at this other rate and a max range of that, and says, okay, I am going to adjust the fastest weapon to the slowest and shortest range weapon equipped. So you only have to aim at one point. All the weapons will hit at that one point, regardless of their weapon velocity and weapon range. And I think this is a good update and an interesting one. I think it takes a little bit of maybe the skill away from the more skillful pilots and makes it a little bit more simple for the less skillful pilots. And for PvP, maybe this isn't the best thing in the world. I'm not much of a PvPer, so again, if you are, leave some comments below and let me know what you think of this update in general, and my thoughts on it. But what I really see is Star Citizen is a lot, I imagine, is going to be a PvE-based game where you're going to be fighting against NPCs a lot and occasionally come across PvP unless you're looking for it. If you're looking for it, you're probably going to come across PvP quite often. But this is important for those players who I think are interested in PvE and aren't like hardcore players where they just have to aim at one thing. It's a lot simpler. It's already hard enough to worry about flying your ship and aiming. And I definitely think this is a good update for that. Now, on the FPS side of things, we have a couple weapons added. The Gemini S71 assault rifle. And this assault rifle for now is only semi-automatic. I think it's supposed to be an automatic rifle, but as far as my testing has gone, it's just semi-automatic. But what's cool about it is it's one of the few rifles that comes with a scope. We have weapon attachments coming in 3.6, but in 3.5, we have the assault rifle coming that comes on with a scope. And me personally, I've always liked when playing FPS games to have scoped weapons. I don't know, I enjoyed it. So this is a cool little addition to me, and I'm kind of curious what you guys think about it. Also, the Castek Arms Coda pistol is a really cool little weapon. It's like the Deagle in CSGO, and it packs a heavy punch, and it's pretty cool. In my initial testing at short range, it's a one-shot headshot. At 10 meters about, it's a two-shot headshot. So it's a pretty strong little pistol, and should be a lot of fun to see some maybe quick shots or something like that from some of you guys, and some videos that you guys made as well. FPS Weapons also will dry fire. They'll have some dry fire audio when you've run out of ammo, so you get a little audio cue to go, oh crap, I need to reload. So that's a nice little addition. And then a big addition, which is just one little line in the patch notes, is added color variants to many armors and undersuits. They added a lot of colors and some vibrant ones. So you can make some really, really interesting looking armor combinations out there. Just maybe leave some images below with your best pieces of work. They also added several new ship UI icons for additional kinds of contacts. Not exactly sure what that means as far as contacts, but I'll do some additional testing and we'll see what that means. And we also have feature updates in the patch notes. Now, these are updates to features that are already currently in the game. So what I'll do here is I'm going to leave a lot of these features and the patch notes up on the screen so you can see them yourselves. But I'm going to pick out a few that I feel are important and discuss those a little bit further. So right away in the general section, the updated carry and pickup animation transition to smooth out motion sum is a pretty big one for those of you guys that do the box missions, or I think even picking up weapons or any other items in the verse. It's a lot smoother, and they don't pop in and out of your hands as much. So that's quite a nice little update, as well as change the keybind for gimbal lock to R, which will eventually cycle between gimbal modes. And what we do know, especially from a recent ATV, is that there should be 3 modes. Gimbal lock, which they're completely fixed. Gimbal full range gimbal, which is you move your mouse around the screen and the gun will move as much as its range allows. And then auto gimbal, where you have to get the ship that you're aiming for inside a certain sized circle, which we don't really know what the size is yet. And the guns will basically automatically fire at that ship for you. And it will have its limitations, and there'll be positives and negatives to each one, but they're preparing for all that with this new keybind R, which will cycle between them. For now, I believe it's not currently working, but when it does, I assume it will just cycle between gimbal lock and open gimbals. And I'm going to skip down to the mission section where, like I said earlier, I think the mission system in general is super, super important to the overall Star Citizen experience. So they've expanded Black Box, Investigation, Collect, and Kill Confirm missions to additional derelicts, just to create less of the same over and over again experience. So I think that's really good. One of the great things about Star Citizen is there's a lot of great views, and the game's beautiful. So extending missions out to as much space as they can handle is a good thing. So I definitely appreciate this update. Reduce the shields on the satellites for destroy probe missions. The probes were pretty heavy shields, so it's nice to see them tone that down a little bit and make that mission just a little bit easier. Update Steel and ECN missions with new waves of enemies and different protect ships, so it's, again, just not always the same thing. And improve delivery mission assets. So I actually haven't seen that update yet, but I'm assuming maybe different looking boxes, different delivery types maybe. Under UI, they temporarily removed visible geometry from helmets that was impeding mobiGlass visibility. So if you guys have played previous patches, if you use heavy armor helmets, a lot of the time the lower part of the helmet will block the most important part of the mobiGlass, like the buttons that you need to press to get to the different tabs. So they're temporarily removing that until they figure out a better solution, I think. And this is a huge one. Replace claim and retrieve buttons on ASAP terminals with a single context-sensitive button. So the button changes based on the need that you would have, but if you have a ship that is landed at another location and you want to bring it to your location, you just press a button now and it comes right there. I don't think it's working perfectly, but this is a really big update that helps a lot with bugs and crashes and people that don't have a large hangar full of ships that can't just go, oh, well, I'll fly that one. So I think this is a really good update, and I don't know exactly how it works and exactly the time it would take maybe to wait for the ship to get to the landing location, but in general, it's something that's pretty interesting. So you can be like, hey, my ship at Yella, bring it to Levski, please, and then you can use that ship there, which is really nice. As far as FPS updates, they, as we've seen in around the verse, they updated the vaulting animation to make it a little bit smoother, and updated the perception of the FPS combat AI to react to players better. And I've experienced this myself. They were a little bit tougher, and I actually got overwhelmed a little bit. I shot at one, and they all started coming at me, so it was pretty interesting. So the AI getting better is really important to our Star Citizen experience going forward. So I really hope that keeps improving. For Arena Commander and Star Marine, I'm not really going to go into these updates too much because I don't think Arena Commander or Star Marine are relevant gameplay modes just yet. But I do want to say that they did an extensive update to Echo 11. The Last Stand is much improved, where you now have a control area instead of just clicking on a computer and being locked. You can protect the area once you're trying to capture it. So there are updates to Star Marine. I think it has a long way to go. So obviously the patch notes will be linked below, and you can read a little bit more into it and see if that's something important for you. Under IFCS updates, this is basically the new flight model that's being described here. This has been described quite a bit over recent times, so I'm not going to go into major detail with it, but the ships and thruster outputs have been tuned to make the ships feel more drifty, and ESP has been tuned a little bit, and we no longer have afterburner. Boost is now called afterburner, and there's a speed limiter, and you can kind of lower your speed limit and have a lot more control over your ship, or you can raise your speed limit and move your throttle up to that speed limit to get from one place to another a little bit faster, but you obviously have less control over the ship when you're going that speed. The ship audio updates have been incredible. They sound fantastic. There's also a lot of rumbling that goes on with the ship camera when braking or boosting or turning quickly. It's great update to that. As far as the flight model update goes, I think there needs to be a lot more testing that goes on, a lot more tweaks that CIG are going to do in the coming weeks, months, even maybe years before this thing is kind of perfected. But I do think that, as I've been saying a lot in this video, it's a good step in the right direction. In terms of ships and vehicle updates, again, this is a very long bit of updates here, and I'll kind of leave these on the screen so you guys can read them while I'm discussing a few of them. The biggest ones are the heat system and the full balance pass on the thruster power usage. I think this is kind of goes hand in hand with that component degradation system, where heat will affect the wear and tear on those components. And again, I think that's really important for the Star Citizen economy, is these systems working together and creating the reasons to want to upgrade or repair or spend money on things in the game, especially ship related, right? So these improvements are really important. I wouldn't exactly call the heat system improved as of right now. It's definitely has its issues, or maybe we don't understand it perfectly yet, and how to take advantage of the heat system or tone it down a little bit based on components and whatever that we put on our ship. So I think there's a lot more to learn, and probably a lot more for CIG to tweak with the system, but it being in the game is very important. Power priority being a functional thing in the game is also really important. Your ship's power is limited, so when you have all the components running at one time, if you're really pushing a lot of them at once, your ship will actually run out of power. So if you decide, well, this component is more important than that component, then the lower priority component will shut down first. So, for example, if you're not an FPS, or excuse me, if you're not a PvP pilot and you're more of a miner, then maybe you would turn off shields or ship weapons as a priority first, rather than your power plant or whatever, you know? So that is something that is just a nice little quality of life improvement, I think. And updated ship audio and ship weapons and weapon impacts, that goes into those audio updates as well. Just really great. And one of the other major ones is the update to cannons in general. They reduced all ship weapon velocity with a greater reduction for cannons. The ship velocity, I think, was to balance with the ships moving a bit slower, but rebalancing cannon damage is a huge thing. If you guys have played 3.4.3 and this recent 3.4 patches in general, cannons were definitely the meta and extremely overpowered, I think. So this should balance that a bit more. I do think cannons are still going to be the meta in my initial kind of feelings with the patch so far, but definitely not as overpowered as in the past. So that's quite a good thing. Additionally, there's a bug fixing section of the patch notes, and it's something that I'm not sure if I want to go into it a lot. A lot of the bug fixes are kind of, you read them and you go, okay, and you move on to the next one. So I don't think there's much to add to those. So I feel like it would just get a little bit, I don't know, droned out, I guess, if I just read through them. So let me know, leave me a note in the comment below if you want to see me add this to the patch note videos in the future. But for now, I'm going to leave it out, and we're going to leave the video here. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support recently. And yeah, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you're interested in more videos like this and maybe some of the other videos that we're going to be testing out in the future here, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about this video and any feedback that you have on it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.